Hello, welcome to the Echo Tips podcast. It's good to have you all with us this week. This week, we're going to be tackling custom alarm tones on your Amazon Echo. That's right. Jingles, alarms, bells, whistles, sirens, bird calls, whatever floats your boat, cartoon characters, and the like. And this is kind of building on last week's episode where we talked about Amazon Kids Plus premium service, which included a whole bunch of free tones and alarm jingles, cartoon characters, Disney characters that could be used as alarm tones for your kids. This week we're going to take more of an adult approach and look at what is available, and we're even going to look at a life hack, that's right, of sorts, that I'm going to recommend. That actually works better than probably any of the typical recommendations that you see on Amazon. But before we get into that, we're gonna have a brief message about our podcast, and then we will be right back. This episode is brought to you by New Vision at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys, and also made possible in part by a grant from the Virginia Board for the Blind and Vision Impaired. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a nonprofit organization serving Central, Southwest, and Southside Virginia. Goodwill's mission is to empower individuals, strengthen families, and inspire communities. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision. Well, hello again and welcome back to the podcast. My name is David Ward. For our new listeners, I'm an assistive technology instructor with the New Vision program at Goodwill based in Southwest Virginia on the East Coast. And it's good to have you with us. You'll find our episodes are little nuggetized episodes, 5 to 15 minutes long, and sometimes we go a little longer. And we try to tackle new things you can do on your Echo, old things you can do on your Echo sometimes to have new paint, and a whole bunch more. And new hardware and things like that as well, deals and skills, all sorts of stuff. So anyway, because of both of you are new listeners and are returning listeners, we're well over 100,000 listens. I think we're 102,000 right now plus. And so anyway, it's good to have you all with us. So this is building on last week's episode where we talked about these neat little cartoon, Disney, Marvel superhero characters, jingles and alarms that could be set up for your kids' Amazon Echo if you were an Amazon Kids Plus subscriber. Now this week we're going to talk about just general alarms and how you can even have a little life hack of sorts that allows you to hack the Echo and get some really amazing jingles and different things on that. I was really hoping to delve into what is known as premium tones a little bit more, but I ultimately found that disappointing, and that's why I'm highlighting the this kind of hack of sorts that I've used forever to get really cool jingles on my Amazon Echo, or even to wake up to really cool music. Okay, so let's delve right into what I was originally going to discuss. Now, I will mention if you have the A-Lady in hearing distance of my voice, you may want to shut her ears off so that she will not respond while I'm saying the A-Lady name, Alexa, here in the classroom training center. So I'll just give you a second to do that, and that way, because I'm going to say her name a lot anyway, and anyway, they'll give you a chance to do that. Okay, so hopefully you've had a chance to do that. So the way that you did this, or I was planning to do this, which was ultimately disappointing, is that you would open up, just like we described the kids feature last week, you would open up the A-Lady app, Alexa app on your phone. You would go to devices down near the bottom right. You then tap on echoes up at the top as your selection, then you would have a whole list of your echoes. You would select the echo that you want to customize the alarm tone for, and you do have to customize it for each different one. And you would select that one, and then you would say like bedroom echo, and then you would tap on the gear icon on the top right corner in the next menu, and that's where you get all sorts of customizations for that particular echo: time zone, location, alarms. And you're going to go down to sounds. Under sounds, you would go there and you would tap, you get some interesting things. You can change the volume of the alarm sound, things like that. By the way, if you didn't know that, the alarm volume is different than your typical alarm. That way you can listen to soft music at night and still wake up in the morning. So that's pretty handy. So you definitely want to do that. And you can verbally change that, by the way. You just say, "Hey, lady, change alarm volume to 5 or whatever. Now, further down that page is what we're looking for, which is the alarm sounds customization section, and it will even tell you what it's generally set to, like simple alarm. You tap on that, and that's where we get into this menu where it says My Alarm Tones, I think. On the left-hand side, that's where we would find the one surfaced if you were a subscriber to Amazon Kids Plus. But on the right-hand side, there's a tab called Premium. If you tap on Premium, this is where I was really disappointed. You'd find some really neat jingles, about 20 or 30. You can scroll up and down. They even have a price tag in the right-hand column. And I originally did a demo where we got to listen to some of those and play some of those. And then it all went off the rails when I tried to buy one. And that's the real problem. Now, what was kind of neat, too, is they conceptualized them into usually packages of alarms. So, like, let's say it was nature sounds or farm sounds, right? And then it would randomly rotate through those jingles. That's kind of cool, because that way you don't, like, are waking up the same buzzer every morning. You know, like, sometimes we get used to a type of alarm. But this would, like, rotate, you know, so it would be like a cow one morning and a chicken the next, I guess. But ultimately, it all fell apart for me when I hit the buy button. And that's not to say I don't think it could work, but you would need to have an Android device or a Fire tablet. I was using an Apple iOS device, and Apple doesn't allow Amazon to have purchasing through their apps, or I should say they do, but they want to take a chunk of the money, and Amazon isn't going to give up that chunk of the money, even though it's like $1 for a jingle or alarm tone. And so when I tapped on it, it opened up an in-page browser inside the Alexa app that took me to Amazon's sales page. I think these tones are part of a skills package, so you could probably independently search for them on a computer on the Amazon site under Amazon Skills. But it would be it would be a pain to try and find anything that way. And needless to say, this is a long way to say that you can't buy it off the iOS device. Now, I think on an Android device, you could probably do it and it wouldn't have any problems. Although, to be fair, I looked at the YouTube channel that talked about this from Amazon Direct, and it looked like, you know, there were a lot of problems in the early rollout of this. And like I said, there's only 20 or 30 in there. I was expecting there to be hordes and maybe a search box and everything by now, but no, there was no such thing. So this leads to our life hack, which I think you're going to really, really enjoy. So, Amazon Music has really expanded, and we've talked about that in previous episodes. If you are a Prime member, you pretty much get access to all their music catalog now. I think it is the entire catalog. You just can't play it like an album from beginning to end. It has kind of a random function, kind of like Spotify free. But I, even beyond that, have been a long-time Amazon Unlimited Music subscriber, which is like $3.99 if it's locked to one Echo. And if you're a single-use account where you can use it on any of your Echoes, I think it's like $7.99 or something like that, US dollars. Anyway, that's a long way to say that it has a huge music catalog. But what many don't know is it also has all these albums of sound effects. That's right, the chickens, the cow mooing, the alarms, the jingles, the sirens, all of it is there. And so you just need to find one that you like and know its name, and then you can invoke it. So let's give you a demonstration right here. Let me turn on, I got my Echo here in the classroom. All right. Alexa, wake me up to ambulance siren.
Alarm for what time?
15 seconds.
Alarm set for 9:17 a.m. to wailing ambulance siren on Amazon Music.
See what it did? It did a search and found the equivalent there. Now, obviously, if I knew the exact name, like Jingle 3, off of the Sound Effects 5 album, it would do that. There we go. All right. All right, there you go. Hopefully I'm not freaking anybody out. So let me turn that down. Ooh, this gets pretty cool. Now, the cool thing about the wake up to command, which we typically would think of using for waking up to music, is that it by default plays on repeat, right? Whether it's a song, a literal, wake me up to Bad to the Bone, or whether I say, wake me up to the ambulance siren, it will repeat again and again and again and again and again until you stop it. And that's kind of the point of an alarm, right? Alexa, stop. Okay, so that gives you just kind of a little idea of how that might work. Now, obviously, you can expand upon saying wake me up to. You could say wake me up to every day. And that way, and I have that actually at home for music, that is, not alarms, like a jingle like that, but I have like my own Dave's wake up playlist in the morning, and I say, shuffle. And so you could do that as well. Now, I guess you could do that as well if you wanted to create, that feature set where it's kind of like jumping around and it's not the same jingle every morning. So you could easily do that too. You could, especially if you're an Amazon Unlimited Music person, you could create a playlist, put all your jingles and alarms and stuff in there, and then you would say something like this. You would say, Alexa, wake me up to Dave's wake up playlist shuffle, basically, and that would do the job. And so really, that would do the thing, and then it would naturally shuffle through that, because otherwise a playlist is going to be like an album. It's going to play from song 1, 2, 3, 4 all the way to the end, however you put them in there. So the shuffle will give you the same kind of functionality. So yeah, super cool. Now, if you want to find out more about jingles and what's available, I would encourage you, if you're logged into your Amazon account on a computer, go to music.amazon.com or go into the music app on your phone or whatever from Amazon, and you can just search for sound effects albums, telephone jingles, sirens, foghorns, whatever kind of thing you want to wake up to. You can probably find it in there. And then it's just a matter of using the verbal command. Now, if the name is really hard, like Explosion XYZ 1049 off of Airplane, you may have some trouble, invoking that verbally. If that was the case, what you could do is look into, it's called Type to Alexa, and you can do that either in the Alexa app, and then you tap on a keyboard and you can literally type in the command that you want. Now, the trick with that would be is that you want to specify it to go off in a very particular echo, and I'm not too sure off the top of my head how you would do that. But if you did have an echo show, you could go into accessibility and turn on Type to Alexa, and then you get a similar functionality on your touchscreen on your Alexa show, or your Echo Show, say the right name. And then you could type the command, hey, wake me up every day to yada yada yada, hard to say, pronounce jingle, siren 126X95J, and you could specify it that way. Of course, the cheat is you could probably just put it in a playlist, even if it was just one song, and then give the playlist an easy name like Dave's Wake Up Jingle or something like that. And that might be an easier hack to do that. So yeah, there you go. So super, super cool. And I'm really disappointed in the premium tones feature. That was really not fun, and locked to Android only. So that's what I suspect is the case. Because as soon as it took me to the Amazon thing, it said basically you can't buy inside this app, blah blah blah. I was like, oh, nuts. So anyway, hopefully that will help y'all out. Oh, one last hack to mention here, and this is another way you could type out the command to be very verbose, is you can use routines. So inside the Alexa app, bottom right corner, go to More, then go to routines, and then you can set a routine. Now, you typically think of routines that turn lights on, turn lights off, do home automation things. But there's a very simple one in there that says schedule. And instead of scheduling a light bulb to come on every night at sunset, like your front porch light, what you would do is you would just go into music, and then specify that you want a particular siren to go off. Or whatever, so that would be a kind of easy cheat to do it as well, especially if you're using something every day at the same time. Now, if you're in there are some sounds apart from the music catalog. You just go down to sounds, and it's got it's not a large catalog. I think there's some animal sounds and some UFO sounds and a few little weird boinks and dings. You could use those as well. I use those sometimes when home automation stuff goes off, just so I got an audio cue that the light bulb did go on or go off. But I guess you could use those for alarms too. But I think you'd have more fun with the music catalog. Okay, well, we'll bring this episode to a close, and I appreciate you guys coming in and dropping in. It's time to turn the ears on your Echo back on, start practicing some of the many, many, many things that you've learned. And if you'd like to find out more about me, you can check us out at Facebook or Twitter at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys. Reach out to us with a thought or a question. Please like or repost us on Facebook or Twitter. Let your friends know. And once again, we thank you for listening.
Thanks, Dave. Let me tell you a bit more. Let me put on my official sounding voice. Ahem. Ahem. This episode is brought to you by New Vision at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys, and also made possible in part by a grant from the Virginia Board for the Blind and Vision Impaired. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a nonprofit organization serving Central, Southwest, and Southside Virginia. Goodwill's mission is to empower individuals, strengthen families, and inspire communities. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision. Phew! Thanks for listening.